Thank you all for coming out tonight. Um, Introduce myself kind of personally first. And if you have any questions or comments as we go, feel free to jump in because ultimately what I'm sharing is for your, hopefully your benefit. So if something isn't clear or you want to expand on it, just let me know. So I'm kind of an Ola Hadash. I've been here 2 years. My wife and I arrived in Israel permanently from Cincinnati, Ohio, 10 days before the start of the war. So on one hand, people said, "Oh my God, what timing?" I say what timing, but in the most positive sense. The response that I've seen from our holy people, the crises that we've been through, has been the most uplifting experience of my life. I feel that the move that I've made, I hope you all feel the same. It's been so different from anything else I've ever done. It's so far above my expectations. I'm walking around on a cloud. I have a pinch myself moment every day that I can't believe I'm here. My background is I worked as an executive for Procter & Gamble for many years, a long time, 38 years, and retired from that to come here. And I now have 2 main projects that I'm part of that are just the greatest thing. I'll just mention them briefly. So one is we're bringing the world back to Israel after this war ends to celebrate and appreciate the innovations of Israel. We're bringing global business leaders, governmental leaders, entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, students, and everybody to replace the false narratives that the world is being exposed to now with the truth about Israel. So that's a major conference we're putting on here in town in March. It's called Skies. So if you have any interest in anything that I say has nothing to do with dating, you can also ask me about that later. The second thing is I've created a chesed / business with a partner, Haredi woman. And we have, the 2 of us own the business. We have 12 experienced professionals from all kinds of different fields. And what we do is we help Jewish entrepreneurs from around the world. Anybody who has an idea for a business or has a business that they're just starting with, wants to take the next level, we support them and give them guidance across all these backgrounds at no charge for a few months. And then if they need more support beyond that, we become consultants. So that's my new professional situation. We live in Baka, my wife and I. We have 3 kids, none of them in Israel, all in the United States. But that means that we are used to flying back. So in terms of the world of Shadchanis, my wife and I have been Shadchanim together for about 11 years. Most of the work that we do is on Sayu at Sinai. If anybody's comfortable to say, I just wonder if anybody here is on Sayu at Sinai. Some people maybe, okay, good. We are volunteers, as are all the Shadchanim on that site, as far as I know. But we truly believe in helping out the Jewish people, and that's why we do it. So and that's why I'm here tonight, is that we love Jews. We love every Jewish person, and we want to help in any way that we can. So together, my wife and I have an interesting dynamic. She does the research on, well, this person could match with that person. And then when she does all that research and makes that conclusion, she asks me to call them to warm them up to the possibility of what's going on. So my job is like, what is it?
Salesman.
Salesman, sort of. I was going to say I'm kind of like the dentist. The dental hygienist does all the work. Last few minutes, I tap a few teeth and I'm done. So, but it's an important job because ultimately we want to give chizuk, support, encouragement to anybody, because the dating process can have some challenges and that creates some anxiety and things like that. Between us, we have 8 successful matches to our credit, so that's pretty good. We'd like it to be a lot more. And she and I disagree slightly on what our metric should be. In her world, the metric is how many people got to the chuppah. Pretty good metric, and the answer there is 8. How many people did we support, give chizuk to, who felt better as a result? In other words, I'm more of an in-process measure guy, and she's more of a crossing the finish line woman. Okay, so just out of curiosity, again, if you're not comfortable to say, you don't have to. But I'm wondering how many people here have like a shidduch resume that you put together, just so that I know kind of who we're dealing with. A few people, great, okay, that's good. Very good. How many of you are working with a particular shadchan, multiple shadchanim? Maybe, okay. How many people are using or have ever used a dating coach? It's not the same thing as a shot. I'm going to kind of describe myself as a dating coach, and you'll hopefully get a sense of the things that I think about. And if that appeals to any of you, you can certainly let me know at the end as well. Okay, so here we go. So the first step in the process that I want to talk about is preparing your profile. If it's an online dating site, or your resume, or both. These are generally applicable to both. So the first thing is, if you are in the world where pictures are involved, pictures make a huge amount of difference. Don't kid yourself. Pictures are the first things that the person sees. So make sure that if you're getting a picture taken of yourself, that it's done professionally if you can, or at least has a favorable background. I've seen some ridiculous pictures where you can't see the person's face at all. I had one where a woman was wearing scuba gear on her face. It's like, okay, well, thank you for nothing. I don't know what you look like at all. I've seen others where we've got like 6 or 7 people together, and that's the picture you submit. Well, I wonder which one he or she is. You know, who could say? Or somewhere it's so far in the distance that it looks like that could be a person over there. I suggest having like a headshot, having like a full body shot, having like an activity going on, something that's fun. And of course, making sure the lighting and the clothing is right and things like that. One of the success stories that I can mention that I was involved in was not even one of the 8. There was a guy that I knew in my town who had horrible pictures. I'm just going to say it. He's a decent looking guy, but he put no weight into pictures at all. I said to him, you got to get these. And he goes, well, I don't know how. I ended up going with him to a park. We spent 45 minutes. I posed him in different places. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I used an iPhone. And he came up with 40, 50 pictures. And he said, well, which ones do you think I should choose? So I chose a few that, again, close up, distance, activity, things like that. Make sure that you're smiling unless you want to give the world the impression that you're unhappy, in which case you're probably not going to be successful unless you find another miserable person, which I don't recommend. So the pictures do make a big difference. However, please don't fall for the trap that the picture means everything. My son, who's now married, Baruch Hashem, was on one of these less religious dating sites called like J-Swipe or something like that. You look at the person for up to half a second, this way, ridiculous. Even if you're a visual person and you think that looks make a big difference to you, which is fine that they do. Number one, there's more to a person than looks. Number two, they're not always going to look like that. And most importantly, number three, I know plenty of examples where the picture looked nothing like the person. There was a woman that we met at a dating event, and she was very attractive, and her picture didn't do her justice. And we couldn't figure out why it was that she wasn't, that she should have been easy to match. And I think people looked at her picture and said, oh, okay, well, I find her very attractive. You don't know. You can't tell from something this big on your computer or on your phone what this person looks like, and try to make that not the only fact. Yeah, stop me with any questions.
Maybe she didn't want someone shallow, so she didn't want to. She's not looking for someone who's shallow, so she's one person.
Right, so that's a good point, but that's part of the dating process. You don't say, well, I'm going to put a crappy picture on myself so that I'll get somebody who doesn't like me. I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree. And that's true in her case. She was a very substantial, sophisticated person. But what I'm suggesting is the picture does matter and should. And when I convinced her that, we took new pictures with her too. That was my second example of taking pictures. And it helped. But you're right. I mean, I'm not dismissing it because I started with this topic on purpose because it's a contentious. People feel like, just a second. People feel like, well, why should it matter what I look like? I'm an accomplished human being. I'm at this degree and that. I do this professionally. I do this as a volunteer. Those things are all rounding out what the person is about. But I'm telling you, the picture makes a difference, even on a subconscious level.
So what do you think that picture need to show? Like, do we need to smile? Do we need to look serious? Do we need to look happy? What do you think is a good picture?
I think a good picture is you in a natural state. I'll give you a great example that had nothing to do with dating. I was at my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary, and my first cousin was supposed to be there, but withdrew some sort of fit and wasn't there. His name was Howard. And just before the picture was snapped, the photographer said 1, 2, and I said just before 3. Everybody think of Howard And my entire family started cracking up, and you got the most genuine smiles. I have it at home. It's the greatest picture. Try to get somebody capturing you really as you are, not like a, smile like this kind of thing, not like a stiff picture, but so smiling is good. Activity is good. If you, let's say somebody's a lecturer at a university or something like that. Picture of you doing your job where you look confident is a good thing too. Depends on who you are and what you're trying to convey, but I'd say multiple pictures if whatever the medium is you're using allows for multiple pictures. I think somebody else had a question. In the back? No? Okay, yes.
What about, well, in general, the feedback you receive on pictures is to be, you know, X, Y, Z, to put forward those types of projections, no glasses, no sunglasses, no, you know, like whatever types of things, and then you automatically then look for those things as well.
Meaning in somebody else.
Correct.
What's the problem with that?
I mean, the problem is then you're more judging based on the feedback that you receive.
Yeah, but each decision is an independent. Your choice for how you want to present yourself is your choice. Your choice for how you want to look at that person is also your choice, but you know, I would separate those out. So if your feedback is, you know, well, you should take some, like if you wear glasses all the time, you're gonna go on a date wearing glasses. I would have at least one picture with you wearing glasses so that they can say, oh, there she is. Versus, well, I'm looking for some girl without glasses, who's that? So, okay. Anything else? Okay, good, thanks for the questions. Think about what your interests are. You don't have to put 1,000 interests, but you want to give somebody enough of a sense of what you're part of, what you're interested in, so that they have, you know, a three-dimensional vision, not just, you know, okay, he likes to work out. Okay, well, that's nice. But how about a few other things that you're a part of, whatever those might be? Not a ton, find the middle ground. Please spell check these things. I can't tell you how many times I read something and it's like, are you trying to convey that you're not intelligent or that you're sloppy? Like, what's the point? Have somebody, if you're not writing in a native language, that's possible. Have somebody spell check it. Like, just like we see the signs in Jerusalem with the neon with words that are misspelled. I can't understand that either. Can't understand it, and I'm dating it. Okay, here's another controversial. You ready? I'm going to tell you, you get 3 choices of the things that matter the most to you. 3 choices. Let's assume you're looking for someone of the opposite gender. That's not one of the choices, but you can decide things like how religious they are, where they live, what their personality is, or anything else that matters to you, but come up with the top 3. I've seen the list, it's 50 things. Okay, number 47, fail, can't take that. Nonsense. And if I'm really being generous, I say it's 5. But 3 to 5 things, figure out what you really, really need, and what's an absolute deal breaker, and what's not. You might say, like, I know some people who are so politically involved, I can't take someone from that political party. Okay, that's truly one of your top 3 to 5, then you might as well say it, because you're going to waste your time otherwise if you're dating somebody from a different political party. But if that's not in your top 3 to 5 and it's in your top 10, my goodness, how can I ever deal with a conservative, a liberal, this or that, a Likud, Labor? If that's truly in your top 3 to 5, say so. And if not, think about it seriously and take it off. And hopefully you'll luck out and you'll match in more than the top 3 to 5 things. But those are the things that you should really be focused on, and recognize that you can, and I'm going to explain, I came up with my own theory about this. Has anyone here ever shopped online for an appliance? Raise your hand if you shopped online for an appliance. 2 people. Nope. 3 people. Good. An appliance, a toaster, oven, or refrigerator, anything like that. If you haven't had this experience, I'm going to explain how it goes. If you're looking for a microwave oven, online at any online shopping site is going to be a bazillion microwave ovens, unlimited amount. Or you can say, you know what? Here's one that has the right size. I wanted it in white. Oh, but you know what? I wanted a delay timer. Okay, swipe next. Okay, here's one right size, got these features, everything up. Doesn't have the rotating glass plate that I want. Forget it. Next. If you think of dating as there's always the next option, you're going to be disappointed in the end. I've met guys, and it's only guys, no offense to the guys in the room. I've met guys who have rejected 1,300 women. 1,300 women. Not 13, which would be a pretty big number, 1,300. And that's probably not, well, I went on 3 dates with her and it really wasn't for me. I was like, oh, picture that I don't like, next. Oh, this, next. there's gonna come a point in the dating process, wherever you are, even in the greatest city on earth, where we're currently sitting, where you're gonna run out of options. And I'm not saying settle for somebody who's really a bad match for you, but what I am saying is check the particulars of, they didn't have every last feature that I was looking for, oh, she's left-handed, that'll never work. Be serious about it and choose only the important ones, yes.
So I have a question. So now in those days, picture is something that is very main, you know?
Oh,
The
like
picture, because no, people use the pictures because we have phone, we take photograph.
Right.
So, but then people say no about a lot of people.
Yes,
And I, like, what do you think missing in our generation? Like, you know, what do we need? Humble, I don't know, what we need to approach this process with the right, you know?
I would love to be able to adjust this generation with a snap of my fingers. But what it is to take the process seriously enough and to take and to commit yourself to, I wanna find the right person. A lot of the things that I'm sharing probably are obvious, some of them, I'm hoping everyone comes away with at least one or two things that they didn't think about. But if somebody is serious about the process, and really wants to find someone who is not just out there playing around or satisfying their parents, yes, I'm trying to date, but actually trying to find someone, after a while, you realize, okay, the approach that I've tried hasn't worked. And this is an important point to get to also. I know people who have been that way, men and women, who for 15 years said, this is the only thing I'm looking for. It's gotta be this, it's gotta be this, it's gotta be this, it's gotta be this. It comes a point then in your late 30s where you say, all right, am I still staying with this strategy or am I deviating? I've invested 15 years of this as a strategy. And I can't tell you what the right answer is, but what I can tell you is that if it's more important to you to have exactly those criteria, you have to stay with that strategy. But I think it should be more important to be happy and to build a bayit ne'eman b'Yisrael with the right person, and that right person can be a little different from what you envisioned he or she to be. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so now, next thing. There are a lot of, and again, I'm gonna start with guys on this one. I know a lot of guys in their 60s who say, first of all, I look 10 years younger than I really am. Great, okay. I think the majority of the world looks 10 years younger than they really are, which means that we can just kind of move the whole generation up 10 years and we're good. But let's say that I met a guy who was at that time 62 or 3, and he wanted a woman between 31 and 38. Guess why he wanted a woman between 31 and 38? Does anyone want to?
How old he was?
He was in his 60s. It's 31 to 38. So
So
sure,
too much movies.
right. He wanted kids. But what I have to say sometimes to people in the dating process is the person that you think you want may not want you. If I ask a 31-year-old, so like, hey, would you like to date a 34-year-old guy or a 64-year-old guy? If that's the only factor, they're gonna probably go for the person in their generation. So be realistic when it comes to choosing what people, that you're looking for someone who could be interested in you too. I'm not saying that it can't work with the age gaps. I know plenty of examples where it worked beautifully and still these days works beautifully, but try to be realistic and think about, well, what I'm asking for, will that person want somebody like me? Okay. The next thing you have to decide is what role, if any, will your parents and your siblings and your friends play? There's no right or wrong answer here, but it is important for you to sort that out. For example, we have people who say, I don't want my parents to even know that I'm dating. That's okay. And I have people who say, I don't want to even talk to you, I want you to talk to my parents. And then I say, well, are they authorized to make every decision for you? Like they know your preferences so well that they will tell me that, yeah, I want this person and not that person. I'm just saying sort that out. Friends and siblings easier because those are generally, let's say, like a peer group. I would encourage them to be involved at least casually in giving you real feedback, like, you know, are these pictures good? Is my profile good? Things like that. But decide where you want your parents to be. And again, we're from different backgrounds, there's no right or wrong, but sort that out and make sure that your parents are involved, you're on the same page with them, and they know what you're looking for so they can advocate on your behalf. But I'm going to move into another sort of general category called evaluating match suggestions. Any other questions though about the setting yourself up for dating before I go to the next topic? Everybody good? Evaluating match suggestions. Please make sure that when you go out on that date, when you look at somebody that you're thinking about dating, that you are not having a lingering hangover from the last person you dated. Okay? So maybe the last person you dated had blonde hair, and this guy or this young lady has blonde hair, and you're thinking, here we go again, it's gonna be the same personality. It's not. The last date has nothing to do with this date unless you're dating identical twins, and even then there's a different personality. So make sure that you're not having a hangover. And this also applies not just to dating, if you've been part of a long-term relationship, marriage, engagement, something like that, do not measure the next person against the previous person. You can say, I'm gonna clarify that. You can say, well, I had this long-term relationship and from that experience I learned that I need A, B, C, and D. That's great. And I'm now making sure that the people I'm looking to date, they have the things that I need, and they don't have the things that I don't need. That's what you should be doing. You should learn from every dating experience to get closer to what your target is. But do not come into the date with a lingering hangover from, well, the last one I dated was this. I've known people who've said, oh, another Brooklyn girl. I can't date a Brooklyn girl. Why? Well, because I dated a Brooklyn girl. So what? Well, they're all the same. They're not. So that's not taking the dating process seriously if you make that kind of snap. Okay, next thing. Also a little bit tough, but I'm gonna challenge you guys. Your default should be, I want to proceed with this date. That doesn't mean you have to say yes. What that means is you have to take it seriously. So my background is engineering. I have a creative side too, but I have a lot of math and let's talk about data, for example. Who here has any kind of math? One, two, a couple. Okay. The dating process can be thought of as data. It's completely the opposite of data. It's completely emotional. But hang with me for a minute and think about it from a data standpoint. When you look at someone's profile, let's say it's a picture with a description. Give me a guess what percentage of the person you think you know from that profile. Let me just hear some guesses.
0.
0. 5. Any other guesses?
90.
90?
I'm not saying you do, but I'm saying that's what you think.
Some people, right. You're right. So some people think, oh, I know who they are. They're not for me. You guys are pretty close. I would put it in my unofficial, non-scientifically based number, 15%, some number like that. That's what you know about. Let's say that you say, you know what, fine, let's give this a shot. You don't have to be like, oh my God, this is the best one ever. But you just have to say to yourself, there are no red flags here. What's a red flag? I'll give you an example. If you're allergic to cigarette smoke and this person says, I smoke 3 packs a day. All right, red flag. It's never gonna work. They're not, you can't assume they're gonna change or stop. So you can say politely no.
But we're looking for red flags all the time.
People are looking for red flags all the time? Yes. Right. So you have to think of what's the difference between a red flag and a yellow flag.
Some people ignore red flags.
That's also true. That's a completely different one. What's a yellow flag? A yellow flag is, you know what, this person seems to have a very outgoing personality. I might be overwhelmed by them. I'm a little bit shyer. I'm not sure. I'm not sure is okay. In my view, I'm not sure is not a reason to say, all right, forget it. It's not happening. If something truly is not gonna work, the person says, I can't leave the state of Israel. I'm gonna live here forever. And you say, you know what, I really wanna, move to Belgium. And that's my plan. Probably not gonna work. You can't assume that you can change the person. Yes.
What about the exhaustion factor though?
Like we've done so
Going
many.
out so many times,
Okay.
right, like that's, like, this is.
Great
question. Like you're saying basically be open, and I totally respect that, but it
Great.
comes in a lot of ways.
Perfect question. Great question. Everyone have a question? What about the exhaustion? So glad you asked. The next date you go on, looking at everybody when they say this, could be the last person you ever date. Got that?
But it also do things like-
May not be, but it could be the last person you ever date. So if you are exhausted, you're not going to give Mr. Right your full emotional energy. Delay the date. I'm not ready for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing you. I'm not ready. If it's like, all right, I just feel like I'm a cork being thrown by the waves in the ocean. Unfortunately, that's part of the dating process. But you have to go in with the assumption, clean slate every time. This person could be the last person I ever date. This could be the one for me. This could be the one that I know. Even if not everything matches up perfect, but that should be the mentality. It's okay to take a break from dating. That has nothing to do with whether the next person you happen to be set up with is the perfect one or desirable or not. If you're feeling completely burnt out and exhausted, to use your word, it's okay to pause. Don't go on a date with, here we go again. I know people who do that. That's not gonna work. You're not gonna be your good version of yourself. And it's, even if it was meant to be, it's, the guy's not gonna figure it out. Great question.
What does it mean to be like involved emotionally? You said you need to come, that you may not be cynical.
If your nature is to be cynical, and that's your personality, it's okay to show your personality. When you're on a date, you're trying to show a good version of yourself. Not gonna be, I'm play acting now, I'm really gonna be, you know, this celebrity that I saw. You're gonna be yourself, just try to be yourself on a good day. Try to be yourself on a good day. Okay? Oh, and by the way, another thing that people said that is completely ridiculous, I will only date men or women who look like the following 3 actors or actresses. Forget it. When I see that, I do next. I'm not helping this person. Ridiculous. Okay. Or I can't date that guy because he has a mustache. Deep sea. Okay. So okay. But I want you to try to default to saying yes. Because if you say yes, the next thing that can happen, I'm certain, depending on what dating system you're using, is you get more connected. Like maybe now you get the person's WhatsApp, or you speak with them or whatever. And now that's about more data. So let's say I was right, let's say it's 15% from the profile and the picture. Now you've had, let's say, a text exchange. How much do you know about the person now?
A lot more.
1%
1% more, that's about right. What if you have a 20-minute phone call with them? No, I'd go even higher.
Yeah.
A phone call's pretty good. A phone call, you get the vibe of the person. How many times in your professional life, not necessarily even on dating, have you been surprised, you saw the person, what they looked like online, and you spoke with them, you're completely surprised that they were not anything like what you expected. Professionally, personally, that happens to me all the time. Like, wow, you're like a funny person. I had no idea. You look so serious in the picture. So the phone call's valuable. I would say you're now getting to 30%. You went from 15 to 30 with a good phone. Okay. Let's say you now check references. How much you were at 30, you've now spoken with 3 people who know that person that you're thinking about dating. Now where are you?
They have much necessarily, there's people who have been curious.
Exactly, correct. So references are gonna, if the reference says, oh, don't date him or her, then I would run the other way screaming. But the reference is gonna give you a favorable review. Make sure you're asking real questions though of the person. You can get data. What's their personality like? What kind of people have you seen them date successfully? Ask real questions of the references where they're not gonna just, oh, he or she is the greatest ever, yeah, you can't go wrong with this person. Ask questions where there's not an objective right or wrong to get you more data. So I would argue you could get 5 or 10% even from good questions asked of references. Okay, now you go out on the first date and you spend, let's call it 2 hours with that person. How much data do you have now about the person? What's the number?
I'm sure.
Total, right now, if you're at 40%, we're generous, 60, okay, any other numbers?
5.
65,
No, 5.
5%, after one date?
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
I would say it's a little more. I would say that you're pretty close. I would say the one date, so some people say, well, I spent 2 hours with him. I'm not 100%, I pegged the needle, I'm done. No, I would say 60, 65. You have a sense of the vibe of this person. What if the person's having a bad day? They wanted the date, they were really looking forward to it. Their boss just said, you're not getting the raise for the next year. God forbid somebody passed away in their family, something happened, and they didn't want to cancel the date because they thought you really were great. What I would say is the most chesed-oriented people try to give a second chance to a not so great date. If you spent 2 hours with them and said, there's absolutely no way, even if I could tweak 10 things about this person, that I would ever see myself with them, then even I say fine. But if it's like, you know what, they did seem sort of down, I didn't like their energy, if it's things like they seemed good on paper and everything else checked out, but the date wasn't stellar, it was okay, it was part, then try to go on the second date. Why do I care? Because I'm building the Jewish people. So I want you guys to get married, have wonderful lives, and have children and build our great nation. That's all I care about. So try to give people that second chance. Okay. Another key thing. Do not, this is to, I'm gonna say this particularly to the women, but I know some guys who are guilty of this too. Do not overemphasize and overanalyze text messages or the lack thereof. Do not do that. Wait a minute, he said, why?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say the following happens. He says to you, I'm gonna be in touch with you in about 2 days. And you're looking at your clock, okay, it's 8:10 p.m. now, and it's right now, it's Wednesday night, so before Shabbat, he's gonna be in touch. And he's not. Oh my God. So I've heard people say, oh, that's it, I'm closing the match, I don't want anything to do with him, that's it, he's out. You have no idea what happens. You have no idea what happens. Let's say he has in mind to give you a quick text to just brighten your day before he's met you. And it's something that that spell check changes to some other message, or that or it's something ridiculous that had nothing to do with it. You don't know what's going on. Do not overanalyze a text message. Have the date. Once he says to you, I've rethought this, I hate you, I don't want to see you, and you're sure that that's really from him, fine, then you can cancel the date. Don't overanalyze. And guys can do that too. Women, I think you know that you can certainly do that. So make sure that you don't overanalyze texts. I realize generationally, I'm a generation older than all of you, and then some probably, but, and I know you're the texting generation more so, although we're getting pretty good at it too, but do not put too much into the text message. Even with my wife, there are times that it can be completely misconstrued what I was trying to say. Don't fall into that trap, okay? Have the day.
It's a good advice.
Okay. I'm moving into the next step, which is the first date. This is getting exciting. Okay. So first of all, if you're the one planning the date, it does not need to be a 7-hour event, okay? You don't have to drive the person to a lot and back for the first date. I would suggest it could even be a cup of coffee. It can be something quick, a 15-20 minute thing. It could be a dinner, it could be an activity, but make sure, let's see how good you guys are. What are some elements that should be present on a first date? Men or women can answer this. What should be present if you're setting up the date? What are the elements that you're designing into the date?
Locational consideration.
Locational consideration, excellent. I know people who say,
Coming.
I know people who say
Showing
stupid
up.
things, especially New Yorkers, I'm from upstate New York, who say I will not cross a bridge for a date. You are not ready to date. Okay, so locational consideration, where's the person going? Am I asking them to schlep, if I live in Yerushalayim, to Haifa? No, probably not so nice. If I'm trying to make a good impression on them, like when I was dating, I would always try to go more than half. I try to show the person I really cared, I was really interested. Okay, what somebody else said, what did you say? A plan. There should be a plan. It shouldn't be, well, I don't know, where do you want to go? I don't know, where do you want to go? So if you're the one organizing the date, a man or a woman, I realize sometimes it's more frequently the man, have a plan. And throw that plan out to the woman, yes.
Who should pay on the first thing?
Who should pay? In my opinion, the guy. Why? Because I think that's my generational approach to things. And it's okay for you to pay if you're the one, let's say, initiating the date, I'm perfectly fine for her to split it with you or offer to split it with you or pay the next time. Like it's not always you're the bankroll for this process, but if you're the one organizing the date, to me, puts a good foot forward.
So how do you get into a situation where you avoid being in a situation where you feel like you're being exploited
Right,
for free, let's say free dinner?
sure.
This shit does it.
Great question.
There's a lot of women that exploit that. I'm done.
Great question. So let me give you the answer. That's a great question. I'm glad you brought it up because I wasn't gonna bring that up. I suggest having a plan. You can even have option A and option B. They're both well thought out. They're both within your budget. Neither one is exploitive. Hey, I'm thinking about this restaurant or that restaurant. Do you have a preference? Sometimes the woman is gonna say, no, I really don't have a preference, which is fine. Women, if you're the one being asked the question, it's okay to give a preference. The guy's not gonna say, oh God, she's ridiculous. He's okay. He's gonna prefer for you to make a preference because he thought hard about 2 good choices that he thought were good. Let you choose. That's fair. When my wife was a little kid, she and her sister had a sibling rivalry. So the way their mother worked out like this horrible sibling rivalry is if they had a big piece of cake together, one sister would cut the cake down the middle and the other one would choose which piece she wanted. That was perfect because then they were so careful to make sure it was balanced. So I'd say the same thing is true. So guys, come up with a plan that's within your budget. If the woman is, if you like the woman enough to date her again, to me, if you're the woman, it's okay in today's day and age to say, you know, can I pay tonight? It's okay to say, or can we split it? That's okay. Doesn't make you seem like you're, you know, setting yourself up for failure in my. Thanks, it's a good question. What other elements should be present on a first date?
Can I say something to them?
You're gonna say something to him?
Yeah, I don't think first date needs to be dinner, in my opinion.
Correct. It could be coffee, it
Because, yeah.
could be a
because
walk.
so much-
could be a walk, it could be a walk around the neighborhood, a walk in the park, a walk in the rose garden. It
I
could
don't
be-
want-
How do you know she's not gonna sink your cheek?
Because if she's gonna be the one for you, and you suggest, I'd love to take you to this rose garden, it's beautiful here. And let's do that as our first date, we'll spend a nice 45 minutes together. If she says, you're too cheap, she's not for you, she doesn't
Yeah,
deserve.
she doesn't really want to get to know me. Doesn't take it serious.
Let's take it seriously.
Timing awareness also, and she's locational consideration. Meaning, if you're meeting up for a date at 7, right, you're ready to say it's a 2-hour date, that means you're done at 9, you still have enough time to get home, to
Yes.
get to school.
Sure.
But if you're like, okay, let's meet up at 9:30, like sweetheart, 11:30 start, like.
Right, so you're a partner in this process, even if the guy's making a suggestion. And you can say, listen, I'm really excited to see you. I have to be up at 6 in the morning, so my preference would be, can we start at the earlier side? That's perfectly fine, he's not gonna say, oh, I thought you were the one for me, that's it, you're out. It's okay to express that, it's okay to convey that. That's perfectly fine. Yes, let's crowdsource that answer. What's not great about going to a drama on a first date?
Shawarma.
Oh, shawarma.
Hungry.
I heard-
Yeah,
oh my
hungry.
goodness. Yeah, the cues about to serve my ears. Shawarma is okay, but shawarma can be messy. And I wouldn't suggest that on the first date. I could suggest that for sure, like on a 4th or 5th date, where you could laugh at each other as the food falls down your shirt. But let me ask the question that I thought you asked. What's wrong with going to a drama, theater, or a movie on a first date?
You know, it's hot.
First date needs to be about talking every day. So if the first date's gonna be about talking, what should you do to prepare for the dates? Topics, what else should you do? Shower.
There are times where you show up for a date and you really put me effort and the guy will come in a t-shirt and shorts and flip flops.
I'm gonna get to that in a minute, so outfit is another thing, so hygiene is hygiene is very important, which means that if your plan on still a new less, pardon me, if it's a 33-degree day outside, and you're going out in the middle of the afternoon, make sure that you have an air-conditioned way of getting there. Don't show up after a 30-minute walk, drenched, schwitzy, smelly, whatever, it's not smart. And I'm sorry if this sounds, I hope this sounds obvious to everybody, but in case there's an element of truth that helps you with, I hope it does. So the day is about talking, yes, go ahead.
My experience was like the more expensive, like the most expensive first dates I've had, like the more expensive it is, less likely it's gonna lead to a second date. I've just seen this pattern with me. That like I went out on a date with somebody and just we go out for drinks, like the more I spend, the less likely, maybe it's just in my head, but it seems like that.
So this is why I think it's important to convey the plan in advance. So it's like, hey, we're gonna go out to dinner, I'll get you back, because I know you said you have to work early in the morning. Now, if you see that it's going great, and you have really a sense of chemistry, and you say, you know, I really don't wanna, you know, I'm certainly happy to take you home if you need to get back, but what would you say about spending a little bit more time together? And either answer is okay, even if she says, you know, no, that doesn't mean, oh, you're not the one. It could mean she really, really, really wants to get to know you, but she can't do it tonight. I don't think that there might be, and I'm not in the dating world right now, it might be that there are people some people have suggested are taking advantage of the fact that, okay, I'm gonna go out to a date to have a free meal and then drinks and then this and then that and transportation, blah, blah, blah. I hope that's not the case. Try to create a plan where you can find out, is this woman sincere about being on a date with me, or am I just here to help her out with something completely extraneous?
If you pay for a nice meal, say it's 500 shekels, and then she wants to go out for drinks, you say, can you pay for the drinks?
I wouldn't go out in a first, if you're mega loaded and 500 shekels, no big deal to you, great. If 500 shekels is a big deal to you as it is for most singles, I wouldn't suggest that on a first date. that could be, again, later in the process, wow, I really like her, I wanna take her somewhere special. We're dating exclusively now, et cetera, that's fine, but the first date should not be 500 shekels.
If you spend 500 and then she suggests, "Look, now let's go out for drinks," is it okay to say, let's go out for drinks, but you're gonna pay?
No, it's not.
Absolutely.
What you can say to that is, I'd really love to get together with you again, if you feel that way. But, let's do it another time. Like, I wouldn't say, well, you're trying to take away my money, I wouldn't make it a financial thing or anything like that. I would avoid that situation by just kind of ending the date at that point and seeing how things develop there.
So you're showing a backbone, by saying you're making a boundary, you're showing a backbone.
It's- Right, sure, no one, you're not gonna wanna end up with someone who's gonna steamroll you all the time on everything. What? So it's okay to have that as a plan. If you spend a lot of money, like you really think that this is gonna be the one, I wouldn't do it on the first date, but if you have, like you said, have a full plan with it. And I'd be a little suspicious, I would say it like that, I'd be a little suspicious if she wants to suggest more things and with the assumption that you're paying. Now, if she says, hey, I'll treat, great, wonderful, if you're up for that. Should be equal partnership.
I would have thought it'd be pretty far down the line before I personally would let a woman stay for any.
That's fine.
On a date.
And what
I'm interested what the ladies would say here.
I don't go on a second date if I'm asked to pay.
Like,
There's no.
like, okay, so
Oh,
you offer, you can offer,
It's disrespectful.
you can offer, Rachel, you can offer.
I
a-
won't even offer, I won't even bring my.
Well, I don't even understand where the concept of a
So
lady pay.
people come from different places on this. And so,
Why would we do this?
let's play this out.
If you can't afford a 30 shekel drink for a woman, then. In my opinion.
Okay,
It's
so
not,
first
no
date.
woman is exploiting you for a 30 shekel drink, it's not,
Let's say the
happening.
woman is a millionaire, the guy's not, I mean,
yeah, but that's not realistic, but
why
it's
is this?
statistics. It's extremely rare.
Let's do this, let me take this back over. We can debate this afterwards. There are different schools of thought, and I'm hearing several of them around the room. Know what you're comfortable with going in. For me, again, the older generation, I was cool to pay and pay and pay. Because that's what I wanted to do, I wanted to show her how serious I was, if I was. If a woman, so there's no right or wrong, you're just know where you're coming in and you'll see how it goes, but I wouldn't make this a determining factor. That's why I say don't plan to break the bank on these first few dates, because this could keep recurring and recurring. We want it to be that the relationship is.
That's also, it's important, I think, for a man, if the expectations of the man is gonna pay, it's also important for him to be the one to plan it, because I don't know your budget.
Correct,
Right.
that's
totally
right,
fair.
exactly.
But also, if a man is asking a woman out, then
Yes.
you ask me out, like
Correct.
you.
First date,
I'm not paying for
I have no debate with it. Second date could be where it comes to some gray area. If it's, you've been out together 4, 5, 6 times now. And you have a sense the guy's getting a little sort of resentful, like everything else is really good. But he's like, seems like a little slower to reach for his wallet. It's okay, in my opinion only, to say, can I contribute? Can I split this with you? And if he says, no, I got it, great. And if he says, yeah, that would be great, that's not a source of saying the guy's not for you either. Money's a tricky one. Don't let money. Okay, all right, we continue because not easy answers. Okay. So you're gonna prepare what you want to talk about. I'm not saying the whole night. I'm saying think about as you're heading into the day. Topic or two that if it comes up, you'll be happy to share. Do not have a soliloquy for 15 minutes at a time. Like, don't do what I'm doing now, which is just being on the talk. Make sure that you're taking turns talking. Make sure you're reacting. Give him or her the chance to talk too. Sometimes when people are nervous, they talk more. Sometimes when people are nervous, they talk less. There's no right or wrong in any of that. Make sure there's a give and take. Now, let's say somebody says, you know what I really love is I really love the animals. And let's say you personally don't relate to that. It's not a negative, but you can't relate to it at all. Think about a question that shows you're interested in the conversation, even if the topic's not your hobby. Oh, really? What kind of animals do you like? You know, what, did you have a pet growing up? Just think about something on the fly. You don't have to script this. Just think about how you can ask a question. Like if you've ever been in a debate, one of the key things with a debate is sometimes people think about, okay, I'm gonna refute this and I'm gonna refute this, I'm gonna refute this. You shouldn't be thinking about what you're gonna say next. You should be thinking about what the person is saying to you and interacting. When you interact with what they're saying, people say, wow, this person seems interested in what I'm saying. I'm feeling good about the fact that they're letting me talk and share my thing. Make sure that if you've done a lot of the talking, you ask them questions, draw them out a little bit. Some people are very shy. And it's okay to draw them out without saying, how come you haven't said a thing yet? You can ask them easy questions like, where did you grow up? That's usually something that everyone can answer. Yes.
When you're nervous, coming to the date or before you're nervous, what do you think an advice you can say to yourself? Maybe be authentic or I don't know, that you can be less, more yourself, less nervous.
Excellent question. So I'll tell you a little scientific secret. When you're nervous about something, your adrenaline kicks in. When your adrenaline kicks in, you perform at a higher level. So nervousness can actually help. If you keep that in mind, like I do that when I'm giving a major presentation, I don't even think about things because I know that I'm going to be okay if I'm up in front of a massive group. So that's number one. Number two, recognize that you guys, all of you, have a tremendous amount to offer somebody, and that you're giving them the gift of getting to meet you. I'm not saying say that with in a conceited way, but you're a great person. They're probably a great person too. You may or may not connect, but it's okay to think about, wow, I'm really looking forward to seeing if this person and I connect. Make it like try to put more focus on, I'm hoping to meet that person, than, oh my goodness, does this look good? Of course, want to look good, but try to keep it in context. And if you've dated before, it's helpful to just remember that you're going to survive it. You're going to get through the end of the night, and you're going to have a chance to evaluate, and it's all going to be okay, whether you decide to continue or not. Are we okay on time? Cut soon? Okay. A couple more questions? Yes.
Yeah, what if she likes cats and you like dogs?
Okay. So is that in your top three?
Well, she's a vegetarian.
Right. So I had that recently with a guy. Is that one of the top three most important things in your life?
I don't know.
Okay. So you decide if that's really your vibe, and you have to have meat. That's all you. That can be for you.
That's a story. Like my friend got married with a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And he eats very less steak.
Yeah, it's the steak and potatoes. Yeah.
And after 5 years, she revolted.
Okay.
She.
Okay. So the only way I can really answer that is the only way I can really answer that is to say that if it's in your top things that you must have, then put it there, and if it's not, don't treat it like it's in your top things.
So after 5 years, you started eating meat, you know,
I don't know. What did she do after convert into what? Jill. Okay. But that raises a great point. I'm so glad you brought that up. Do not expect that you're going to change the person you're dating. Do not expect that they're going to switch their life around, that they're going to move to where you're taking care of your parents, that they're going to have a different personality, that they're going to present themselves the way you want to mold them into being. If that happens, wow, great. Assume they're going to be the person that you're meeting, only in more evolved and mature version over time. If you're going into it saying, well, I love everything about this person, but these 5 things I'll just not be able to deal with, and I'm going to change each one of them, don't make that the plan. That's not the right person. That's
personality.
Say again?
Personality.
Exactly. These are all real good. All right, I'm gonna finish up the group with 1 or 2 just quick things, and I'll stick around if people want other conversations, if that's okay. Okay. So last thing that I want to say is that how do you evaluate the dates? It could very well be that it's not going forward. It could be that you wanted it to go forward and it's not going forward. These can be heartbreaking moments, and I'm not going to lie about it. Try to recognize that if somebody says they don't want to proceed, they're not saying you're a worthless person. what they're saying is, I don't feel like you're the right match for me. You may feel that way too. And here's the main thing, let's say you spend 2-3 hours in a day with this person, you know what, great person, just not gonna be for me, but who can I think about that I have among my friends that I can set them up? We're all in this together, we're all part of Klal Yisrael, we're one big family. And so when we help each other out, we get the best possible results. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dan. So you're invited to join the buffet or ask Elaine personal question, whatever. Thank you for coming.
I don't know, let's move on together.